If you try to Google the best places to buy web hosting, you will come across articles that are bluntly lying and clearly have no knowledge about web hosting. They suggest using something like Bluehost. But I have actually tested them and they are really bad. So I decided to do my own independent research and pull up all the data together. I've also created graphs and tables to make it easier for you to visualize the results. Before we start judging them, there is one important rule we need to be aware of. These companies usually promote their first year prices, which are heavily discounted. I see everyone online showing those prices, but I've decided to dig deeper and I will also go and show you the full renewal prices, because in some cases they can even triple. I tested various web hosting providers that could be categorized into a few main groups: complete mainstream options, targeting general customers, established entities, companies with a strong focus on providing web hosting services, wildcards, companies offering something unique which can be either good or bad. In each test, I wanted to purchase cheap web hosting that would allow me to create a simple WordPress website, as well as buy domain name with whose privacy to protect my personal information on one single platform. Also, all prices in this video are in US dollars and bought via my link in the description, because some of them will offer you some special discounts if you use my affiliate links. So let's start comparing. Bluehost. Bluehost is a web hosting service with over 13,000 reviews on Trustpilot, and 1/4 of them are the lowest rating possible. This perfectly aligned with my experience of their performance, which was along the worst I have seen. Their loading times are very slow, and they have very low uptime, meaning your website will often be inaccessible. Since Bluehost is owned by a large corporation in this space, they use a support system where one agent has to cover multiple companies, resulting in poor support quality. But to be fair to them, they do have some decent self-help articles as well. In terms of user-friendliness, I think that even a complete beginner will have no trouble creating a website with them. There is no problem in here. Price-wise, they are one of the most expensive ones when it comes to renewal. Interestingly, they pay us creators the most if we recommend them and you buy through our links, which is why you see so many fake reviews about them online. In conclusion, Bluehost's performance is very poor, their support is bad, and they are generally overpriced. I would not recommend them. Hostgator. Hostgator is another mainstream option with similar negative reviews to Bluehost. This is because they are owned by the same corporation, so it is basically the same company with different branding. Regarding all the key metrics, their speed is pretty similar to Bluehost, but Hostgator had less downtime, which is a good sign. The support is basically the same as you will get with Bluehost, which is in my opinion very unqualified. However, self-help articles look better on Hostgator, even though they are often exact copies. The user interface looks more modern and they make it easier to make a website. And again, you will not get anything extra with them and you will need to pay extra even for basic features. In terms of pricing, they are overpriced and not worth the hype. There are much better options and cheaper options available. Once again, they would pay us creators a lot of money if we would recommend them. But even if they promise us a lot of money, I still think they are very overpriced, they are overhyped, and they have bad performance, so I would not recommend them. DreamHost. DreamHost is one of only 3 web hosting companies recommended by WordPress, but I don't think they are that good. Based on the performance, they were very bad in terms of speed, though their uptime was a bit better. Be aware that their servers are located only in the United States, and the golden rule of web hosting is to have your server location as close to your target audience as possible. In terms of user-friendliness, they look a little outdated, and it is a bit more complicated to create a new website with them, especially for complete beginners. In terms of features, they include some extras in the price, like built-in caching, which will improve your website's performance. They're also eco-friendly with their web centers powered 100% by renewable energy. In terms of pricing, They're one of the cheapest, but they might get more expensive since I'm still on my first year, and they could add some extra costs later on, as did many previous web hosting companies. In conclusion, DreamHost seems to be stuck in the past for me. They are not moving forward. We have seen it based on their performance, it's not really that good, and they're basically middle or even bad in everything else. So in my opinion, there is no reason why you should go with DreamHost. Hostgator. Hostgator has nearly 29,000 reviews on Trustpilot with a very good positive to negative ratio. Unfortunately, based on performance data, I can actually see a very negative trend, where in past few months they were getting slower and slower. But the good part is that they are still maintaining good uptime. This is why it is important to look at the data month over month to see trends like this. If I would just give you one average number, it wouldn't make any sense. Now, Hostgator is probably the most user-friendly when it comes to making websites from scratch, and they have the best pre-written articles and videos without a question. On the support side, you might encounter a less knowledgeable support team, probably because of their size, and they're also missing a phone support option. In terms of features, they don't use the classic cPanel, but they have developed their own H panel, which is relatively nice. They also will provide you with cache engine, which can increase performance of your website even in a basic package. The problem with Hostgator is that it is relatively hard to scale. If you want to upgrade, you are getting a lot of traffic, you can go with VPS or dedicated servers, but you will go and find much better performance and price with another web hosting companies. Also, be aware that they are notorious for giving big discounts if you go and sign up through someone's link. The good part for you as a potential customer is that Hostgator doesn't pay us creators as much to promote them, meaning more money stays in their pocket to actually develop their product. Now, in conclusion, even though we can see that Hostgator's performance is actually slowing down month by month, I still think it can be a good choice for complete beginners, especially those ones who are looking to build a blog or very small business website. In terms of awards, I would go and say this is the best options if you want to go and build your own blog, but also remember that if you want to go and actually save money, you would need to go and commit for a longer time period. But I still think there are better options in here. For example, the ultimate Swiss knife of web hosting companies is definitely better even for blogging. IONOS. Could IONOS be the Swiss knife? Well, no, because they have a very bad performance and are slowing down year over year, though their uptime seems to be relatively fine. In terms of user-friendliness, they are unnecessarily confusing with a non-intuitive layout. Combine this with the fact that it freezes a lot and lags, and this results in a poor customer experience. In terms of support, you get all the necessary options with relatively okay support quality. However, some people online had trouble reaching them, especially during off hours in the United States. In terms of features, you get all the basics needed, but they offer quite a lot of upsells. Also, be aware that you can be charged extra if you use older PHP version, which is something I haven't seen anywhere else, and this can be very, very expensive. In terms of price, I don't think it is adequate for the performance they provide. They charge way too much and have a relatively high domain cost. Now, in conclusion, if you're not already a customer of their parent company, I would definitely go and suggest you to try to stay away from them. There are way better options, and IONOS is basically mediocre or even bad in everything. So there's no really any redeeming feature why you should go with them. NameCheap. NameCheap is mostly known as a domain registrar, but they also offer web hosting services. In terms of performance, it is hard to get a long stretch of data, but it seems pretty good. However, a big problem is their frequent downtime. In terms of user-friendliness, the layout can be more confusing for beginners, but it is still an okay option for creating a simple website. In terms of support, they don't offer phone support, but the quality is relatively fine. I think they focus more on the domain registrar part, and it is also evident when looking for self-help articles. They only have very, very basic ones. In terms of features, I really like that you can build up to 3 websites even with the cheapest plan, and domain name prices are really, really affordable, even for renewal. Also, in Europe, 100% of their servers are powered by renewable energy. In terms of pricing, this is where it gets interesting because they are by far the cheapest option, also in terms of renewal, and it's not even close. And the interesting part is that you don't see them recommended a lot, since they pay us creators only a very small amount for each recommendation for them. In conclusion, I would go and give them an award for the most affordable web hosting. They are relatively good for complete beginners just trying to go and build their own first website or even small business websites. They also have coverage all over the world, so you don't need to go and be stuck to a specific location. I think the performance can be a little shaky in some regions, but overall, these can be very good options if you are on a tight budget and you just want to go and experiment. I would not recommend this for some serious website or even some type of affiliate website you would like to go and make money off. There are way better options for this. HostPapa. Next hosting company is HostPapa, a legacy brand that has been around for a long time. In terms of performance, it is getting worse and worse, meaning your site will be slow. Their uptime is not the best, but it is within the standard acceptable range. In terms of ease of use, they are very outdated. They have changed the design recently, but many self-help articles still have the old layout information, which is just super confusing. In terms of support, they are very mediocre and even offer a fax option for contacting them. An interesting thing is that they offer new customers a free 30-minute one-on-one dedicated session with a Papa Squad expert. However, be aware that this is also a marketing trick, and sometimes they can act more like a sales team, trying to convince you that you need to go and buy a lot of upsells along the way in order to build your website, which is just not the case. In terms of features, they offer the standard package, and everything extra will cost you more. You might remember their old logo, which was very popular, but they have rebranded recently. In terms of pricing, they are definitely overpriced and have been underperforming for a long time in terms of performance and reliability. Once again, creators can make a lot of money by recommending these web hosting services. In final conclusion, I think they are living off their legacy brand. They are not developing anything new and they are stuck in the past. I haven't seen over past few years any significant improvements. So this is why I would not recommend them. InMotion. In terms of performance, this was the second best web hosting provider in terms of speed and had a relatively okay uptime of 99.97%. If you are a beginner, the interface is a little intimidating and confusing, so this option is better suited for more intermediate users who already has an experience with managing web hosting. In terms of support, the options are wide, but the quality is relatively hit or miss. I have had good experiences, but also some very underwhelming ones. The support team is mostly active during daytime in the United States, so if you live in a different country, you might have trouble reaching out to them. Interestingly, they also offer Skype support, which is something very unique. This web hosting service will definitely give you enough resources. For example, you will get a very generous 100 gigabytes even with the smallest plans, which you will likely not use. This can be very handy if you have a large website or want to migrate or plan to set up a very big e-commerce store. Scaling with InMotion is one of the best and easiest from all web hosting companies I have reviewed. But also keep in mind that their server locations are only in the United States. Also, they have opened one in Europe this year, though I don't think it is still 100% working. In terms of price, you will definitely need to pay a premium. I personally would definitely welcome a cheaper plan with fewer resources, but still you will be getting a relatively good performance for this money. In my final conclusion, I could see myself recommending InMotion for only US customers and especially the ones that are planning to do something big, for example creating big e-commerce store or they're migrating their big already existing websites. I don't think this is the best option if you're just starting out, want to make some small website or some small blog. This is definitely for more intermediate users. SiteGround. Based on all statistics, SiteGround is the most stable in terms of performance of speed and uptime, which is a very good sign for the future. This stability is due to the fact that they use Google Cloud Server infrastructure, which is very well maintained and is also premium quality. The user interface is relatively simple and well organized, so you will not have problems setting up your website. The support can be split basically into two categories: the existing customers who will get decent support, and the new non-paying customers who I think will get less technical support that sometimes acts more like a sales team than actually some support team. Some extra features they offer for free include, for example, their custom WordPress plugins that will make your website more secure and load faster. Since it is built by SiteGround itself, it will actually help more than third-party plugins and will not slow down your website. In terms of reviews, they have over 16,000 reviews, and only 4% of those are the negative ones, which is the best ratio from all the web hosting companies that I have reviewed. But in terms of pricing, you will need to pay a little extra for this premium service. You can save some money by getting your domain from a different place. If you are looking for some online recommendation for web hosting companies, you will not see SiteGround mentioned that much, since they pay creators very little for each recommendation. In conclusion, I think SiteGround is an ultimate Swiss knife when it comes to web hosting services. I really like that they are using Google Cloud Server infrastructure, which is very powerful. You do need to pay a little extra for it, but it is something that will just work. And this is also why I am personally hosting my main website with them. Now, I understand that it can be a little pricey for some people, but if you want to go and save some money, you can use my links in the description, and in this way you will also support my channel, so that I can go and keep making those honest videos so people like you can get real information. Now subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. This is everything from me. Have a nice day and goodbye.